Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Glad you're here. Listen, if you're watching on live, drop a one in the comments. If you're going to be watching this on the replay and you're watching, drop a two in the comments. Apologies to everybody for yesterday. Yesterday, there was all kinds of technical issues, not on my end, on Facebook's end. So we're having to kind of redo this today, which I don't mind doing. Listen, we're going to start out with we've got some great things happening in a couple of weeks. I've got some great training coming up shortly after that. This is going to be amazing stuff. Going to it, it's just going to be a lot of fun for everybody. So I hope to see everybody there. I'm going to start putting out a lot of advertisements, promotional things on this. It's something I am looking forward to, something that is going to be my pleasure to do for my fellow brothers and sister veterans. You guys are great. Everything that I'm doing for you. I'm doing it because I wish I had it when I had retired. I've talked to other graybeard veterans and some senior lady veterans. Can't call them graybeards, they'll kill me. Anyway, senior lady veterans. And I've had some conversations about this. I've had some conversations about the Veterans AI Learning Center. I've had conversations about some of the tools they have on the platform right now. I've had some great conversations about things that we're getting ready to add to the platform. This platform, like I said, is built by veterans for veterans. Now, I will tell you that since I launched this live, to those of you that have been part of it, I thank you. I thank you for the support. But I've noticed since I've launched, there are copycats. Okay, no problem. Hey, guess what? We're a capitalist society. Go for it. It's all yours. My wording and stuff is copyrighted, so don't take that. We've got pending patents, so careful what you touch. Anyway, I guess mimicking or copying is the ultimate form of flattery. So I guess I'm flattered. However, if you look at some of these copycats, it's, oh, I have a friend that's in the military, so I know how you guys feel. My neighbor's in the military. I know what you guys are going through. I have connections with the military. I know exactly how you feel. I'm sorry. BS. Capital B, capital S. BS. Until you've walked in my boots, my brothers and sisters' boots, until you've crossed deserts, walked through jungles. I'm not going to get into the sad part or the bad parts, but until you've walked where we've walked, shut up. You can copy what I've done. That's fine. But don't you ever, ever say you know how I feel. Don't you ever tell one of my brothers and sisters that you know how they feel. unless you've been there yourself. Enough of that. I'm off my high horse. But that pissed me off, guys. Seeing that, reading that pissed me off. Anyway, let's get on to the good stuff here. On the Veterans AI Learning Center, we have a translating military resume writer. Greatest thing that I ever did. So I developed this. I've taken every MOS there is. And if you've got one and it's brand new and I don't know about it, hey, let me know. I'll get it in there. But you put in your MOS. You put in the schools that you've been in. You've put how many years you've been in the service. You put your branch in. You can put some awards if you want to. There's a little button over there to the right that says translate. You've put all your information in. All military speak, which we know so well. To this day, I'm still more comfortable with my military language than I am with civilian language. So you hit translate and it spits out a civilian version of your military career so that a hiring manager and HR manager knows exactly what you mean. Not to pick on the Army. I don't want to pick on them. There's some great guys and gals. But let's say that you go through the military as a tanker. All right, if you say that to a civilian, they go tanker. You know, they're thinking a fuel tank, a water tank. They're not thinking a 60-ton chunk of metal that can destroy a town with a single blast. They're not thinking about the tank commander, the driver, the gunner, the little tank crew inside there. They don't know what any of that means. So how do you put that on a civilian application? For the last 22 years, I was a tanker. I was a tank commander. I reached the rank of XYZ. I was in charge of a crew. We shot rounds at things and killed people. They're going to look at you like you're nuts. Well, this resume writer takes and turns all that into civilian speak. This was a leader of people. They had this much education, which translates to, operations manager, project director, whatever your MOS translates to. And it'll tell you, based on the information that you put in from your military career, here's your civilian version of your resume. Here are the best positions that are suggested for you. Now, that doesn't mean you have to take them. That doesn't mean you have to apply for them. One of them might say project director and you want to be a carpenter or electrician. Okay. Hey, go for it. They're just suggestions. Here's where it gets even better. I also wrote and developed a pre-interview program that I have added. Now, here's how this works. You answer 4 questions, name, branch of service, rank, MOS, type of job you're looking for. You hit start conversation. Now, the AI remembers all the information from your resume, pulls it over into here, comes up with the questions, and it will give you a brief description of what you have put in. And then it'll tell you, I'm going to ask you a series of 5 to 7 interview questions. Now, these aren't questions from 10 years ago. These are questions that I actually update once a month. I do the research. I go out, I find it. I see if there's anything going. I've got some contacts with some nice hiring managers, some HR people that I talk to. Not to ask them favors, hey, get my buddy a job, but what are the exact questions that you ask? What do you run into when you talk to a retired or prior military member? You know, they've either just retired, they've just ETS, they've been out for a year. You know, what are the questions you ask when they give you a resume? Well, they'll give me those questions. Those questions go into the program. Those questions then get asked to you. You give your answer verbally. You don't type them in. You're talking to your computer. It's talking back to you. Because you're never going to walk into an interview and have an interviewer ask you a question and you sit down there and type on a keyboard what you're going to do. So you're talking to the computer. Computer's talking to you. You give your answer. When you're done, it evaluates your answer. It'll either tell you, hey, that was too long, it was too short, it was indirect. Instead of saying a tank commander, you know, I was a leader of a department, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. It'll tell you all this stuff. Now, do you have to write it down? No. Right? Take notes, yeah. But here's the thing. You're still not comfortable? Start over. It'll remember everything that you put into it. Or you can say start from scratch and put the information in again. Go through it as many times as you need to. I still do it and I have fun doing it. I'm retired. Long story short, I came down with some really severe health issues, which caused me to retire from my civilian job. Now, without going into detail, I'm laying in the hospital for 6 weeks. Got all kinds of tubes and stuff stuck in me, getting infusions to save my life. What am I going to do? I'm not going to sit there in a hospital bed for 6 weeks and watch a bunch of soap operas or a bunch of game shows. So I told my wife, bring me my laptop. So I started on the laptop, started looking around. Let me do this. Let me do that. What can I do? Wait a minute. And then it hit me. I'm laying in this hospital bed. I'm not making any money. I got to do something on here to make money. Well, a lot of people do work from home. What does yours truly do with the crooked imagination that I got? And believe me, I've got a different imagination. People that know me can tell you that. I sat there and typed in work from a hospital bed. What's the answer I got? Learn AI. Okay. Now tell me how in the world I'm going to learn AI from a hospital bed. So I spent the next couple of weeks digging in, researching and digging in and researching and talking to some of the nurses and doctors that came in, some of the veterans that came by to visit, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. After, and a lot of you graybeards will remember this, after coming home and pretty much getting a screw you, when you have fellow brothers and sisters while you're in the hospital trying to stay alive come by saying thank you, the best thing I got was welcome home. And that was from an old dude in a wheelchair and one arm. I looked at him, I said, what happened to you? In a kind of joking manner, and he knew it. He said, well, he said, to tell you the truth, I was in a jungle. And I saw a banana up on a tree. And I grabbed a banana. The gorilla grabbed my arm. He got the banana. We both laughed. He didn't need to say any more. I didn't need to ask anymore. We had a great time. That's just one story. But I had new visitors daily. It felt good. It really did. Anyway, on to or back to what I was talking about. So I'm on the little computer hitting the keyboard, AI, what the heck? So I get into it. I find it. I look at what are my current problems with AI. Okay. Go back over here. What are the solutions? Brothers and sisters, let me tell you, I found something great. Matter of fact, I found two things great. Number one, I found out I'm not as dumb as I thought I was. Number two, I found or ran into a great technical wizard. Now, this guy has been messing with AI for the last 25 years before anybody ever heard of AI. He's an absolute genius. So here's the thing. I start talking to him and I tell him what's going on. I tell him what I find. And I ask him, this doesn't work. He told me, he said, you write down what you think will work. You write what you want to work. You write down what you need to work. And I just looked at him, hey, you're kidding. He goes, no. He said, I understand your position. I like the way you think. Well, we kind of partnered up. And I came up with some things. That is where Veterans AI Learning Center was born, in my little pea brain. So that's the base platform. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I told you about the resume writer. I told you about the pre-interview practice questions, back and forth direct with the computer. I also was asked by a veteran, hey, it was on your platform. I like what you have there. How come you don't have a disability estimator? Light bulb. I said, I don't know, but I will. So I got in there. I started writing. I got onto my computer and wrote these things. Came up. I told Danny about it. And Danny goes, oh, I like it. Let's see how it works. How does your prompt read? Now, a prompt is what you plug into an AI and tell it what to do. Rule number 1. Main rule, most important rule. Number 1. Never, ever, ever ask AI a question. I know you're sitting there going, what are you talking about? What do you mean never ask it a question? Well, I'll explain it to you. But before I do, if you're watching this live, put a 1 in the comments. If you're watching on replay, put a 2 in the comments. If you have any questions, type them in the comments. Oh yeah, rule number 1. Never, ever ask AI a question. Why is that? Well, if you ask AI a question, it's like asking a 4 or 5-year-old a question. How does a car work, Mommy? How does a car work, Daddy? Okay, you're talking to a 4 or 5-year-old. So you look at them. Tommy, Susie, how does a car work? I don't know. You get in and drive it. You put that metal thing in the hole and turn it, and then we drive it. You pull on that stick and it goes. You get all kinds of crazy answers like that. Now, that's not putting children down. That's just telling you AI. What it does is you ask it a question, it goes out in the world, and it grabs the first thing it finds that remotely answers your question, and it comes back with the answer. Guys, AI is a tool, like a hammer, like a saw, like a dentist drill, like an electric mixer sitting on my counter that I love to use. It's a tool. You tell AI what you want. You tell it what you're looking for. You tell it what you're seeking and the result you're seeking. You don't ask it. So what we did with the disability estimator, I said, I need you to go out in that real world internet. I need you to go to the VA sites. I need you to find everything you can find on estimating disability. Then bring me the list back. Okay, all of that took like, 3 or 4 minutes, but I got exactly what I needed. Then I told it this is the order I need it in. So it created it. And it went through and I said, no. Now I need you to include the statement, there are special circumstances, special disabilities that cannot be included in this. Because there's certain things you can't estimate. But from the people who've used it and the feedback I've gotten, and I'm still working to improve it, but right now, I'm at a 94.8 accuracy point. That's pretty good. That is pretty darn good. Now, does it replace a VSO? Absolutely not. You still got to find a good VSO. Some people want to do it on their own. That's fine too. However, when it comes to your disability, the best advice I can give you, do your claims one at a time. Do not pile everything together. If you got a VSO that says stick everything together and submit it, you're going to lose. Why? Because the rater, the reviewer, you just sent them a whole stack of spaghetti. It's like throwing spaghetti on the wall. They're going to flip through it and they're going to go, no, it's going to set off to the side because it's too much stuff to look at. Versus your buddy over here to put in one thing. Back injury. Here's a documentation to verify it. That gets to that rater's desk. He looks at it. He looks at the verification. Boom. There's your rating. Your stuff's still sitting over here in a pile. Now he goes back. He's got another claim or supplemental claim. Bad knees. Here's the documentation to prove it. That gets to that rater's desk. He's looking over at your pile, looks at this. This is a single one. Okay. I'll give you a rating on this. So he takes this one and the first one, combines it. It changes your rating. Okay. Now you've got tinnitus, the ringing in the ears. Okay. Supplemental claim. You file that one. Send it in. It gets rated the whole time. His rating's going up. Your stack's still sitting here on the desk with no action at all. So if you got a VSO that says put everything together and toss it in, don't find a new VSO. Find a new VSO. Do yourself a favor. Now here's the funny thing. That's speaking from experience. I did that. I was given this VSO. Greatest person in the world. Does this, does that, does this. Okay, fine. This individual says, what are all your claims? Heck, I don't know. Went down the list. All right, here's the paperwork. Fill it out. I filled it out. Put everything together. Now let's submit it. I sat on somebody's desk, not for days, not for weeks, not for months, for years. I wound up withdrawing every single claim and starting over. Just a little personal advice and experience. Talk to other people. You don't have to take my word for it. Now, another thing on this. If you think there's nothing wrong with you, you're wrong. Some of you old timers know what I'm talking about on this next one because they didn't have the TAP program when I retired. But you're going to your retirement briefing or ETF, whatever you guys are doing to get out. You go to the little briefing. Well, when we were there, and I'm talking to the older folks, you're told there's nothing wrong with you. Do not put anything on paper. It can prevent you from getting a really good job. It can prevent you from having a great career. It will follow you the rest of your life. Folks, that's not to benefit you. That was an accounting trick to save the government money. Put everything down there. If you had a splinter in your basic training or boot camp, a little tiny splinter under your nail, you had to go in to have it removed. Write it down. Had an earache, write it down. Busted your lip when a track vehicle spun and you were being stupid in a no stupid zone and got popped in the mouth. Got a bloody lip out of it, write it down. You're out playing football with the guys off duty out behind the barracks and you take a dive and skin up your knees and your elbows. So you go over to the infirmary real quick to get patched up or, get some antiseptic or something. Put it down. Write it down. For those of you that are 12 to 18 months from retiring or ETS, update your medical records. Get a physical copy of everything. Go on to va.gov. Go to records. Go to Blue Dot. Download it. Print it out. Put it on a drive. Have copies of it. Believe me, once you're out, some of that stuff's going to disappear. For whatever reason, maybe not be intentional. It's being moved from here to there. It's being digitized. Some of it's going to disappear. You want everything. Now, those of you that are already out, same thing. va.gov, medical records, Blue Dot, download. Go through everything. If you see something that's not there, but it is an injury you have, lower back, neck, elbow, you lost the tip of a digit in the military, whatever, you go get it documented. You get it service connected. Anything that happened to you that you can prove is service connected, you get it service connected. I personally are helping a gentleman right now. He has been retired from the Army for 56 years. Didn't know he was eligible for any VA anything. He just retired and walked away. Well, he's hurting now. He's hurting bad. He's using a walker. So I said, "Oh, have you signed up for the VA?" "Well, I'm not eligible for that. That was a long time ago." "Yeah, you are." So I got him signed up. Got him into seeing some specialty providers. Got some things going. He had a 0 rating, which reminds me, no matter whether you've done 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 50 years, doesn't matter how much you get. Once you get out, you have a VA rating, even if it's 0. Well, his was 0. He is now at 70%. Tickled to death. He had no idea. We just submitted a new claim for him, for his back. That's going to get taken care of. He has it documented in his records that he's got bad knees. It's in his medical records from way back when. When his back one comes out, that one's going to come in. Now, the VA specialty provider told him he needs 2 knee replacements and he won't need that walker anymore. So if he gets 2 new knees, then he's not disabled anymore, right? Wrong. Wrong. So that's where your estimator comes in. Go through, list everything that you know is wrong with you. List everything that's in your file. Hit estimate. Go on from there. If you need more help, where to go, what to do, drop me an email. info@veteransAIlearningcenter.com. DM me on Facebook. Hit me up on X. I don't care. I'll help you. Like I said, I'm not doing all of this for me. I'm doing all this for you guys. Now, I've got a swag store coming out pretty soon too. As I said yesterday, it was supposed to be in the next 48 hours. I ran into an issue. So it should be by the end of the weekend. Now then, let's get on to the main thing. And this is my pride and joy. This is my baby. This is my build. This is my idea. This is what I learned, what I taught myself, and am now putting it out there for you guys. All right. So it's my I-Core program, which is on the platform. Intelligence, Cognitive Operations, Reasoning Protocol. That's the I-Core program. It's got phase 1 up and operational. It's got phase 2 up and operational. It's got what I believe third and final phase, which I'm still writing, creating, developing, however you want to put it, but it's up there. My I-Core program. Now, here's the thing. Here's where all of this comes in. I set this up to take a person with, believe it or not, no computer experience. 0. No AI experience. 0. No experience whatsoever. Now, this is something that I learned from my digital wizard. This, as I said, this guy's phenomenal. He knows more about the AI world than anybody I've ever met. 25 years playing with this stuff. And there's those of you out there that have probably done the I want to work from home thing, as I started saying when I was in hospital, what I saw. Only I didn't do work from home. I did, what can I do from a hospital bed? Anyway, here's people that have bought all these courses. They bought these books. They've got these little ebooks. They've got the PDFs. They got, done for you, ready to go. Start making money right now. All these little programs and everything. And there's many of you that have purchased them. There are many of you that many of you feel like failures because you bought these things. I mean, you did it line by line, word for word, everything. You did exactly what it was instructed for you to do, but you still didn't make any money. But you see all these things, you see the little advertisements, I made $1,500 in an hour. I made $30,000 my first month. Okay. Fantastic. But there's something they didn't tell you. They make your money selling you that program. It's a good program. It's a good course. It works. If you're at that level. Most people aren't at that level. See, there's kind of like this little bridge that you got to go up. And on this bridge, a lot of you are starting here when you buy these courses and stuff, which is great. But the beginning is down here. It's not up here. It's down here. That's the beginning. So from right here all the way up to here, you don't know. You haven't learned. You haven't been taught. You got no idea. That's like me giving you I-Core Phase 2 with explicit, and it does. It has explicit, detailed instructions. And you get that and you go through and you go, it doesn't work. Bill, this is junk. It doesn't work. Well, I wouldn't do that, because what you need is Phase 1. That starts down here at ground zero. It starts at the bottom. It starts at 0. Also, it's a living document. It's a living program. It learns you. It learns your habits. It learns the way you think. It learns the way you react. Now, is it going to take over your life? No. It's a tool. Tool. It's a tool. It won't make its own mind up. It won't make decisions. You have to tell it what you want. You have to tell it what you're looking for. You have to give it the outcome you need. So it starts from ground zero. And as you go through, you're teaching it like a child. You're teaching it right, you're teaching it wrong. Or you're teaching it right and you're correcting the wrong. It's also going to test your integrity. Now, I've got to go through this too. Writing it and doing the physical practice are two different things. So yeah, I wrote the program, I put it together. Well, now I got to do it. For several reasons. One, I got to try to find all the bugs I can find in it. Two, I have to understand what I just wrote. Because as it comes out of here in spurts and gets inserted in spurts and then squished all together, and I look back going, what did I do? So I jump in the middle and go, I don't remember that. Or is that supposed to go there? So I got to go from the very beginning and run through the whole course, beginning to end, which I did, which I'm now going to do on Phase 2. I got to go through that to find anything, any bugs, any fixes. I try to break it. Now, this will test your integrity. You can do module 1 in detail. Get to module 2 and you go, ooh, I see shortcut. I can do this and skip this and still get the same result. Okay, fine. Module 3, go through fine. Module 4, go through fine. Module 5, red light. Things lock up. You can't figure out why. Well, it's because back there in module 2, you took a shortcut. And that changed everything from that point forward. So now, your little living creature that you've been teaching and creating and everything is stuck. You're stuck. You can't get around it. What does that mean? You got to go all the way back to module 2, and you got to do it the right way. And then you have to redo module 3 because your shortcut screwed that one up. You got to redo module 4 because 2 and 3 screwed up 4. See where I'm going with this? That's where your integrity comes in. Now, somewhere in there, and I'm not going to tell you where, you get a review by one of the mentors, by my digital guru, or by me personally. And what that is we give you a scenario. We know what it is. We know the outcome. We know what it takes to fix it. So we'll give it to you. All right. Here's your scenario up to what you've learned so far. Now, you can use all of this. You can use your living document. You can use anything you want. You either are going to tell us, yes, that is correct, and you're clear to proceed, or you're going to identify, hey, there's an issue. And we'll say, okay, there is an issue, and that is correct. And then you're going to go, here is what I would do to correct it in order to proceed. So now you're given the steps that you've learned, what it needs to correct that. Is there more than one way to correct it? Yeah. But there's only one right way to correct it. And that's what you would have to do. You have to identify, you have to go back through stuff, and you have to identify it and correct it the right way in order to pass and then continue on. Now you'll have several of these through there. So again, that starts you at ground zero. And it takes you all the way through to the end of phase one. Now, when you get done to phase one, then you have your finals. There's 3 of them. As long as you've done everything through the course, the finals are actually easy. You can stop there. You can take that out to a civilian employer with the knowledge you have, and you'll be great. Now here, this is what puts you ahead of everyone else. What I have created and what I stay on top of. Like I said, this is a living course. It's a living document. It grows with you. It does what you teach it. You're training it. All right, you got a buddy that used his GI Bill and he's going to college to learn AI. And he's telling you, well, that's not what they're teaching us. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Well, they're using their GI Bill. Now follow me on this, because this makes a lot of sense. Check it out for yourself. But me personally, I got to maintain my integrity. Your buddy that used their GI Bill to go to school and learn AI, are they going to learn AI? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're going to learn AI. But that instructor is teaching them last year's or 2 years ago AI. Now, why do I say that? Real simple. They have to take this AI. They got to transcribe it into technical manuals, textbooks. Then they have to teach the instructor. The instructor has to learn it. Then once the instructor learns it and everything, next year they're going to teach it to your buddy. So what they're learning is last year's technology for tomorrow's problems. What I-Corps does is it teaches you today's technology for today's problems. In a week from now, something changes. Well, guess what? Your AI adapts with it. So now you're here doing tomorrow's technology for tomorrow's problem. They're still doing last year's technology for today's problem. You've already advanced. So that puts you ahead of them right off the bat after completion of phase one. If you choose to do phase two, that's practical real world applications and issues. Here's a real technical issue from a real company. Now you're going to take everything you learned here, you're going to fix that problem. Then you're going to have another one. And this goes through the whole course. And these things are going to change. Real issues. Your training. Now here's where it gets fun. You take your buddy and go, hey, take a look at this. You know, you're doing AI. How do you fix this? When you get that deer in the headlights look, you're going to know you made the right choice. You followed the right path. It's up to you. It's your training. It's your future. Oh, and here's the best part. You get done phase 1, you take phase 2. You finish phase 2. There will be, which will be 100% optional because it's still in the creative stage. There will be a phase 3, but that may be the final phase. Anyway, once you complete phase 2, you can walk into just about any employer anywhere and say, give me a problem. I'll show you I can fix it. Let me see what you got. You can audit what they already have and find problems that nobody else has seen yet before they come up. And you can tell them, hey, you need to change this because this is what's going to happen. You'll get somebody, yeah, whatever. Well, guess what? When it happens, they're going to go, hey, somebody get a hold of that guy or that gal that was in here and told us this. Then there's the flip side of that coin. You finish phase 2. You can now start your own AI business. You can start your own AI consultancy. You can start your own AI whatever. You have the ability to create your own business. You have the ability to teach your children if they're into computers and stuff and they want to learn. You have the option to create a legacy you can pass down. On that now, I'm going to go back to what I said at the very beginning. Hello, welcome. If you're watching live, put a 1 in the comments. If you're watching on the replay, put a 2 in the comments. If you have a question, send me a message. Also, back at the beginning, I talked about the swag store. We're going to have hoodies. We're going to have t-shirts. We're going to have coffee mugs. We're going to have camping mugs. We're going to have all kinds of nice stuff. If there's something particular that you would like to see that is veteran related or your branch related or your MOS related or something to do with you personally and your military experience, let me know. Let me see if I can get it on board. Somebody else might like it also. All right, I'm going to stop for a minute and I'm going to open up Q&A. If anybody has any questions, put them in there. No questions. Okay. We'll let that go for now then. I guess I will wrap this session up. We'll see what happens. I look forward to you. Oh, yeah. Coming up, some excellent training. Coming up, an app release for you guys. Let's see. Coming up, we're going to have our own show. Some great guests on there. Drop in, we'll have a conversation. Maybe, you'd be interested in becoming a guest. Not sure. Just let me know. It'd be great. And remember, ICOR, Intelligence Cognitive Operations Reasoning Protocol. That belongs together. There's not supposed to be a separation. It is a reasoning protocol. It lives, it's alive, it grows with you. So do what you need to do and stay where you need to stay. In the meantime, stay healthy, stay happy, and learn. Veterans AI Learning Center, built by veterans for veterans. Semper Fi, everybody.